YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. Yesterday we did the unboxing and the initial impressions of this magnificent 77-inch Sony A95L. Today we are going to dive into some gaming. However, this is not going to be the hardcore gaming video. We're going to save that for tomorrow's upload. This upload is going to feature talking about the PlayStation Remote Play functionality that this TV has integrated in. So we're going to go through some setups, a small brief tutorial, talk to you about my opinion on how this is and how I think it's a good job, or if it's not such a good job, for a person to try to enjoy using their PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 console. So I'm going to take you on a brief tour. We got timestamps down in the description. Please utilize those to entertain yourself. We're going to get all that going right after this intro. All right, guys, so welcome to my dining room. This is the LG G2 OLED. Got this in 77-inch. This is just a little bit of behind the scenes content as I'm trying to bring to you guys. My PlayStation 5 console is actually in my arcade cabinet. I do have cabinets in my dining room in my 40s, well into it. And so, yeah, the older you get, the more you just care more about having some uniformity and comfort to your household, right? So home is what you make of it, right? Not a traditional dining room, but I have a Chulix cabinet right here. This content has been featured on the channel, but my PlayStation 5 resides inside of this thing, okay? So this PlayStation remote functionality is supposed to put you in a position where you've got your console in one space and your TV or, you know, your connectivity in another space, kind of like I have the A95L in the living room, and you're supposed to be able to remotely play it using the same network. Now, I do have an Ethernet cord, as you can see, going across, because I've got like an Ethernet switch connection. My whole house is wired up, going from this cabinet, which has an Xbox Series X, to where this PlayStation 5 is inside of there. Getting this thing turned on, I should have a stable connection, so it should be as good as possible. There's a lot of shoulds and woulds, but that's what we're going to check out within this video. But I wanted to give you a basis as to where I actually have the console. This is several feet away from, you know, where the actual TV is going to be. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the A95L, get that set up and see what that looks like. All right, so we're going to proceed to try to get this thing connected. Going to start by just going down to apps. This is Google TV, just so you know. We're going to go over to the entertainment apps category. Scroll all the way over. The only app that I really have downloaded right now is Plex, which is what we featured yesterday and many other times. We're going to scroll over, scroll over, scroll over, scroll over, scroll over, scroll over. And yeah, you could just search this out, but I'm just walking you through this. So PlayStation Remote Play, or PS Remote Play, is what we're focusing on. We're going to get this thing installed. Let it download. Once it's downloaded, you need to actually sign into your PSN, which is your PlayStation Network. If you have the PlayStation app, you can definitely utilize that. Download that app. If you don't have it, you sign in on the app, scan the QR code, and then it puts you in a position where, you know, you're able to navigate using your phone, which is much more enjoyable than a television remote. All right, and once you've signed in up to this point, it's asking me which controller I want to use. It gives you the option for the PlayStation 4 controller or the PS5 specific controller, then walks you through some different options and what you need to do to kind of pair the controller up to the television. All right, so it's pretty important to note that my PlayStation 5 will not be in the center stage of my TV setup. I just want to put that out there, right? So opening this cabinet up, you know, there it is. There's an amplifier, there's a power. It's a little dark in there, but here are a couple of controllers also. So I'm gonna go ahead and snatch one of these out. Yeah, so the TV has you go to settings. You go to a remote in settings, and then it looks like it automatically picks up the DualSense wireless controller. TV gives you a request to pair it, and now as you can see, and I'm actually controlling the TV now from the actual remote, which is pretty dope. It tells us that it's connected. From there, you can either disconnect, you can rename it, you can forget it. And the labels are important to me. So as you can see, I'll name mine Living Room DS5. So yeah, just so you can, like I said, you can disconnect, rename, forget it, etc. But this is all paired up. So we're going to continue on with the application process. All right, and going back to the app, it immediately asks you, which do you want to connect? So either PS5 or PS4. We're obviously trying to connect a PS5. We're going to process there. It says before connecting to your PS5, to use remote play, enable it on the PS5 you're connecting to first. On that PS5, go to settings, system, remote play, and turn on to enable that. So let's go back to the Chulix to do that first. All right, and here we are on the console. So, all right, so as I told you to go settings, then system, then remote play, right? Enable remote play. And that should be it. All right, so we're back on the A95L. We're gonna hit OK. Searching for connections via the internet. Now, I will point out that the TV is currently on Wi-Fi connection. I don't have it pushed where I need it to be, so it is not wired in, but it says checking the network. And then I just heard some notification in there with the console. And we are controlling the console right now from the TV. Well, we're controlling it from the controller, but you get the idea. Now things look a little bit, it looks like it's streamed right now, very pixelated. So I'm gonna get this back on a tripod and we'll take a look and see what this experience is like. I don't know if there's a way for me to be able to detect, you know, bit rate or resolution, but looking at this, because the screen is so large, you can definitely tell that it's streamed out. The recording may not pick up pixelation, but the claim to fame for this feature is merely for you to be able to just enjoy the console where if it's in a different space. Now, the best way to play a console is definitely going to be to have the port connected directly to it, and we will do some setup of the PlayStation to this down the road. You know, I've got all these videos set up in mind that I'm just going to knock them down and get them posted to you guys. Okay, when you pull up the settings, the TV automatically detect that it's, you know, the type of content is gaming content. You can go in and force it. Obviously, turn it into vivid just turns this thing light cannon on, right? But the TV has the ability to detect the type of content that you're playing. So putting it on game is where you will want to have it at. Now you can go in and adjust the settings from like game mode, but putting it on game mode is going to get you the best input latency. So when you go to picture mode, you can do standard game, you can do FPS. You got some more, couple of presets here, right? For the sake of this, we're just going to leave this on game mode. So it's cool that, you know, within this application, you can still modify settings. All right, we just got a huge boost in quality. Like, I mean, this thing looks drastically better now. I went to menu, right? And it kind of like disconnected from remote play, but it went back. So the quality has stepped up quite a bit. Latency is also a bigger factor now. I'm gonna try to get this thing connected. Up to this point, the TV itself has been just wirelessly connected. So we're gonna try to connect this in directly just to see what this experience is like. But right now, as of right now, in this part of the video, the quality looks really good. Like, I mean, really good. All right, so I've made my house uncomfortable and I've established an Ethernet connection. I've actually turned the Wi-Fi off on the TV. And so the TV is directly connected now. No noticeable difference. You know, and the good thing about this test is, you know, whether or not it's worth you forcing an Ethernet connection to the television, because the TV's got pretty damn good Wi-Fi on it, in my opinion. So no noticeable difference in latency as far as playing this. Definitely wouldn't play this thing with a competitive game. All right, so playing some Spider-Man. This is the first game, not Miles. Definitely can detect the latency, but this is a lot more playable. You know, this is something that you just can adjust to. You're playing something competitive, you can't. The reason you can is because you've got to play the player when you're playing anything competitive, versus if you're just playing a game that, you know, tells you that, hey, you have to be reactionary based off of what an NPC is going to do. Single player games aren't going to be so, they're only going to be but so random, right? The one thing you have to be conscious of from a picture quality perspective is that you're not getting native, right? So this thing is definitely not going to look nearly as good as it would if you were, you know, just playing this directly with a PlayStation, or dare I say with a PC. As I said, we'll get to some content like that pretty soon. So, I mean, you know, just to kind of like get something going, I think this review is more so for the casual gamer. You know, maybe you have a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and you're just like, man, you know, I don't need to buy multiple consoles like TKK has. I'm just a real big tech guy, and I always have been. And if you've got, like, I mean, I don't know, this TV, you know, this feature puts you in a position where you can enjoy your console without having to have it plugged in. You know, this is not something that your peers are gonna want. You know, as I said, you can tell that the quality is streamed, so it's definitely not that 4K upscale look that this game does have on PlayStation 4 Pro or PS5, but something you can definitely enjoy a little bit, I suppose. I want to talk about another potential with this television outside of the PlayStation. All right, so real quick before we end this session, if you hit the PlayStation button in the middle of the DS5 controller, gives you a couple options. Go disconnect, hit the cross button. You can actually put this in rest mode, which I think is pretty cool. As I said, this is in my arcade cabinet. So if I want to just, like, you know, step up to my arcade cabinet, I keep the consoles in the cabinets in rest mode so that I can just turn them on and it's ready to play. You can hit OK and it just takes you back to this functionality. Now, the cool thing about leaving the console in rest mode is if you want to go back to playing this, once I get this set up where I need this to be, if I ever decide, hey, man, you know, I want to mess around with a game, I just want to play something on the PlayStation 5, just quick, you know, you always have that as an option, right? So you open the app up, just like I showed you in earlier sequence of this video, and it's going to take you right here, and you can either do other connections or you can do the PS5-117, which is what I have. This is going to conclude this part of the video. I want to talk about something else, and then we'll bring all this to a conclusion with me giving you my thoughts. All right, guys, so we're using the Oculus Quest right now. So I've got this headset on and the TV, and this isn't specific to the A95L. All the Sony TVs can do this. Many of the Google TVs can do this. But this just kind of puts you in a position where, you know, you can, if you're casually gaming, you can, you know, just, you can turn something on that's going to be fun, enjoyable, maybe for yourself, your family. I'm not the biggest VR enthusiast. The Quest 2 is sufficient for me. I'll probably upgrade to the 3 when it comes out later this month or whenever it does. You know, basically it's a good fun time for you to be able to, you know, get your family involved into, you know, some gameplay and to have some fun. And, you know, it's just, I think it's just a great option, something to consider. The TV, you know, gives you the option to be able to stream off, right? Like I'm just playing this. All right, nothing super competitive, just playing. And then what you can do with this, obviously the TV being larger, puts you in a position where, you know, you can have people just kind of join in on like a nice family game night. I know a lot of people that buy this TV, they're probably not going to be buying it for the gaming functionality, which it can do pretty well, but just wanted to give you some other options while this video is tailored to the PlayStation. streaming. You know, there's other platforms like this that you can use to stream also. So I haven't turned this thing on in a long time, but you get the idea. You know, I can play this game, I can play other games, and my kids can sit and watch, and you know, they can be next, right? So while it's not multiplayer, you know, we can kind of play. We can, you know, if you look over to the right, you can see I've got next power up, I've got high score. It's just a lot of different things you can do with that in that regard. So TV's got some potential on streaming outside the PlayStation. All right, guys, hopefully you found this video to be enjoyable. I shot a lot of content, so I got to bust this down so I can get it uploaded to you guys. Again, this is the morning after last night when we did the initial unboxing and impressions. You know, tune into that video just so you can kind of get a basis of, you know, what the TV looks like, what it feels like, and so forth. You know, but this video, we're talking about the PlayStation remote play. Listen, not something that I'm going to utilize. I'm going to be disconnecting the DS5 controller. Just doesn't serve a purpose for me, but I can see where it does for others. If you happen to have a PlayStation 4 lying around, or don't feel like, you know, you really want to upgrade, or you got a PlayStation 5 and you're just really casual and you just want to play a video game from time to time, this is a decent option. It works well with the TV. Not something to get to play in a competitive space, of course, but you know, again, casually you can enjoy yourself, and you can enhance the quality a little bit by just doing HDR, but there's no resolution scale options that are present in the TV. Connecting it to a wire connection doesn't do much for you in the space of you trying to play competitively. It's just not something you use to play competitively. It's a casual thing. That aside, you know, talking about the Oculus and the prior transition, something like that is another option too, right? So you've got this nice, big, beautiful, bright TV in your living space, and you just want to be able to, you know, have some enjoyable game time with your family. You can certainly do that, right? So the TV has the ability for you to get yourself like a VR or something like that, where you don't have to buy any extra accessories like a Chromecast, because guess what? It's integrated to the TV. So yeah, just wanted to kind of put this together just to get some organic content out there to show you what's possible with a TV like this. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you like the video, please leave a thumb up. If you want to support the channel, we have the membership. There's different tiers there. You can tap into that. And we're going to keep the content going. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. Peace, God bless, and as always say, Max love.